one surprise out of the first day of Patriots training camp was former quarterback, I guess, Danny Etling. He was in a receiver's jersey doing drills with the receivers. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Evan Lazar and Alex Barth at Gillette Stadium. But Danny Etling, you heard from him, Alex, after practice. What did he say? He doesn't seem too pleased about the change of positions, but is realistic about it.
He gave us all the company lines, and some of it was the tone and the inflection, but he very much seemed like a guy who knows his days in the NFL are numbered. The first thing that he was asked, or one of the things he was asked was, are you disappointed that you're moving to wide receiver? And he said, well, I love football. I'm still playing football. I'm in an NFL training camp. I'm with the Patriots. That doesn't really answer the question of if he's disappointed or not. When asked if his quarterback days are over, he wouldn't say no. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He gave a very Patriots line of, I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do. I'll fill whatever role. And look, he wasn't going to come out and blast the team for moving his position or probably be overly thrilled with it. But you kind of wonder what the plan is with this guy because, he's not Taysom Hill, which a lot of people are trying to say he is. He's not. He's not Greg Ward. He's not a guy who's going to run a 4.5, 4.4 40. He's not a guy who even was really a mobile quarterback or a running quarterback in college. He was mobile. He could scramble. He could move around. But he doesn't have that background like a Julian Edelman does, right? Or like a guy like a Terrell Pryor does. So I think he knows, and it's pretty easy to tell. This is a very desperate move by the Patriots to give him a chance to try to make the roster because he wasn't going to make it as a quarterback, and I don't see really, he's going to have a long climb ahead of him if he wants to make it as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I think in minicamp, we saw him throw as many passes in team drills as the three of us, which is zero.
He was punt protecting more than he was throwing balls.
Yeah, he was clearly not playing much quarterback in minicamp. He still had the red non-contact jersey on in June. We come here in July, first guy, when he runs on the field, all the reporters are like, is that Danny Etling in a white jersey? Like, what's going on here? Played a little bit with the special teams unit, played a little bit at wide receiver. The wide receiver reps, I think we can pump the brakes on Danny Etling becoming the next Julian Edelman. But at the same time,
well, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
6'3", 225.
I think that when you looked at the depth chart coming into the season, he was the clear number 4 quarterback and an absolute long shot to make the roster. This at least gives him some sort of a semblance of a chance. I think probably for a practice squad spot. He's still practice squad eligible, so if he wants to stick around and still have kind of a life in the NFL, so to speak, maybe he sticks around in the practice squad. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to that point that he's just like, let's just call it a career.
If you'll let me steal a question real quick for Mr. Football terminology, because you were going through the drills. At one point, Etling was actually throwing passes in the red zone in these weird motion formations.
Yeah.
So is that him going back to quarterback, or was that them working on a wildcat?
I think that was them throwing a camp body, camp arm. That's what we say, right? Like he's thrown to like the 4th-string running back on their little flat routes and stuff like that. That's nothing about quarterbacking. That's more about we just need somebody to throw the ball, and Danny Etling is a better thrower of the football than some coach that we have that's a ball boy.
Right. I mean, you have Brian Hoyer, who has a great relationship with Tom Brady. You have Jarrett Stidham, who clearly the Patriots believe in enough considering where he was drafted. So it seems like Danny Etling has absolutely no shot at that position. But what are Etling's saving graces? What could possibly keep him on this roster?
Well, I think that it starts with him being a really intelligent player. From everything that you hear about his days at LSU and his days here last year, they put some stuff on his plate last year in terms of, scout team quarterback type things where he's pretty good at that. He's not necessarily super mobile like Alex said, but he's mobile enough that he can emulate some of those mobile guys and do some of the read option stuff that they might face against a Kansas City or Lamar Jackson in Baltimore this year. Whatever the case may be, I've heard that he's a great scout team quarterback because he can do a little bit of everything. So I think that that's probably where his role is on this team going forward. The problem is that usually the Patriots use the backup quarterback as the full-time scout team guy, which is Brian Hoyer, who everybody raves about as a scout team quarterback also. So he's kind of the backup to the scout team quarterback. So we have a long way to go for Danny Etling.
Yeah, it's football IQ. That's what keeps guys, and I'm going through some names here, but guys like Logan Thomas, that's what keeps guys like that in the league. Eric Dungy, who's trying to make it. He just got cut by the Giants. These guys, they played quarterback in college, so they have a very high football IQ, and you just try to find a spot where that works. Sometimes it's at wide receiver, sometimes it's at tight end, sometimes it can even be at safety. Remember when people thought Tim Tebow was going to try to be a safety when he came into the league? So, and that's one more point, too, I want to bring up. What we're seeing here, This is why Tim Tebow is no longer in the NFL. This is the role that he would not
good
accept.
for Etling
This is
for
the
sacrificing,
role.
right? For making that a commitment.
And that's why I
to the
never
team.
felt bad
Absolutely.
for Tebow for not making it. What you're seeing right now is the role that Tim Tebow would have had if he stayed in the league. This is what teams wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this Foxborough Report is brought to you by betonline.ag. Head to clnsmedia.com/win. Enter promo code CLNS50 for 50% added back to your sportsbook bankroll. For all of our training camp coverage, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at CLNS Media.